Hey guys, welcome to the second tutorial in the Introduction to Python course. Today we'll be talking about variables and strings. A variable. Let's talk about a variable first. What is a variable? A variable in Python is a reserved memory location to store values. In other words, a variable in Python gives data to the computer for processing. So variables are essentially like placeholders for something, just like in math class, where you have variables x and y to denote maybe the coordinates on a blackboard, on a 2D coordinate system. Similarly, you have variables in Python which store values. Let's say you have a variable that is named integer 1. So for naming a variable, you can start you should start with a letter, but you can have numbers in it as well. This has letters and numbers. It's basically a combination of numbers and letters that makes up the variable. And we've assigned the value 5 to this integer 1 variable. Let's execute this. And it basically compiled properly. If you want to print out the value of integer 1, we do this. And it gives us the value 5. So you can use variables in math operations, just like regular math operations in math class. 20 plus integer 1 gives the result 25. Let's define another variable and let's divide the two variables. 5 by 18 gives us 0.27 recurring. Alright. Let's talk about strings. What is a string? A string is an array of bytes which represents Unicode characters, and Python does not have a character data type. A single character is simply a string with a length of 1. So in some other programming languages like C++, C, and so on, you might have heard of character data types which hold just a single character. In Python, there's nothing of that sort, and if you want to store a single character, you simply store it in a string, and that will have a length of 1 for the string. So you define a string by just enclosing it in single or double quotes. So you can put in anything you want here, and when you control and enter to execute, it says whatever. That is the string that we initialized right now. So you can also put it in single quotes. This is the string we've initialized. Put anything here and it gives us the result. Alright. Although you can initialize a string using either single or double quotes, there are specific times when you might want to use this one over the other. Single quotes or double quotes over the other. For example, let's see. Suppose you have a string which is the weather is great today. Now, if you put this in single quotes, Python is going to show up an error. Can you think why it might show up an error? What's wrong with this string? You guessed it. Python considers this as the beginning quote and this as the ending quote, single quote. And the remaining part of the string basically shows up an error, because Python doesn't understand what's going on beyond these single opening and closing quotes. It doesn't understand that the entire string is captured by these two quotes instead of these two. So in order to escape this, you might want to enclose your string in double quotes, and now it will work perfectly fine. Another thing that you can do is use a backslash operator. Suppose you initialize this in single quotes. If you put in a backslash here, that basically tells Python to avoid what's going on after this backslash to be as a part of the initialization of the string, and it basically considers this a valid string. This basically ignores the single quote that follows after it. Alright. Okay, let's see. So we'll be talking about functions in a later part of the course, but a very basic function that you can use to play around with is called the print function. So the way the print function works is basically you type in print, print, as simple as that. You open parentheses and Google Colab automatically creates the closing parentheses for you. You enclose whatever you want to print in single or double quotes. You put in a string essentially inside the parentheses enclosed in single or double quotes, and then you type whatever you want to type. Hey now brown cow, or whatever you want, and it prints out hey now brown cow on the screen. Perfect. Let's see. Suppose you want to escape problems of like the kind we discussed before, the ones where Python gets confused because of these single or double quotes in the middle. What you can do is declare this to be a raw string. Just use the R letter in the beginning before the string and type in whatever you want after that, and Python basically considers this as a raw string and prints out exactly what it is on the screen without looking for special characters or whatever could mess things up. And this is just a raw string that's printed out. Another thing you might want to try is using the new line operator. Let's see how that works. Suppose you want to print out a file path on your computer. You say C docu, or let's say desktop Netflix. Suppose you want to open up the Netflix folder or print out the location of your next Netflix folder on the screen. What do you expect? Well, it doesn't print out the Netflix thing entirely just as it is, but it goes to a new line after desktop. Why does this happen? This is because it encountered the \n character, which stands for the new line character. Whenever Python encounters the \n, it jumps to a new line. So after C desktop, it went to a new line and printed out Netflix, which followed \n. So the way to avoid this in your print statement is by putting in the R at the beginning. Let's just take this as a raw string, and then it won't consider this as \n as a new line. You can add and multiply strings just like numbers. So let's say first name equal to burger and last name equal to king. Suppose you do first name plus last name. First name plus last name, Burger King. And you can multiply strings as well. First name times 5. Guess what this will print out? Burger, 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 burger 5 times. So this is especially useful when you want to print out a bunch of text a number of times. You can use the multiply operator on strings as well. So that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.